The ratings are in for Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS. An update on the former Luchasaurus, now known as Killswitch. Was he backstage at AEW Revolution and part of the scrapped main event plans? WWE reportedly has their sights set on free agent Jeff Cobb, and some suggest he's already been added to WWE's internal roster. Eddie Edwards earns his team the advantage heading into the steel cage match at Sacrifice. Hammerstone has his final TNA match for the World Heavyweight Championship last night against Joe Hendry. Several WWE NXT stars appear on TNA Impact. Frankie Kazarian will face Steve Macklin at TNA Sacrifice. A TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championship match has also been confirmed for Sacrifice, as well as a match on the Countdown to Sacrifice show. Brian Gewirtz pushes back at a rumored name for The Rock and John Cena's heel faction. Stone Cold Steve Austin says he will be around in Las Vegas for WrestleMania 41 weekend, and a Ring of Honor TV Championship is set for next week's show. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with the ratings and demographic numbers for AEW Dynamite on TBS. Since AEW was coming off one of its biggest pay-per-views in recent memory, the ratings on TBS reflected that, as Programming Insider have confirmed that the March 12th episode averaged a total of 628,000 viewers. This is a 5% increase on the previous week's 600,000 viewers, a 7% rise on the trailing 4-week average that currently stands at 585,000 viewers and is the third highest average viewership Dynamite has earned thus far in 2025. There was an even bigger rise in the 18-49 demographic, as Dynamite posted a 0.16 number, a 23% increase on the 0.13 number from March 5th, which puts the show back in line with the trailing 4-week average, which also sits at a 0.16. In what is becoming a regular pattern for AEW on Wednesday nights, Dynamite once again ranked behind Fox News and the NBA coverage on ESPN in the rankings, finishing in 6th place amongst all primetime cable telecasts, with Summer House on Bravo narrowly beating AEW to 5th spot. Now, in terms of the quarter-hour ratings, these come courtesy of WrestleNomics, so shout out to them and be sure to subscribe to their Patreon. AEW, of course, will be looking to break into the top 5 with the March 19th episode of AEW Dynamite, a show that will see Jon Moxley defend the AEW World Championship in a street fight against Cobb, and Kenny Omega will find out who his opponent for AEW Dynasty will be, with the AEW International Championship on the line at the upcoming pay-per-view event. Now, a bit of an update here when it comes to Killswitch and also these rumored scrapped plans for the main event of AEW Revolution. Now, earlier this week, there were rumors that there was an alternate ending planned for AEW Revolution. While Fightful Select say they can't confirm that, Fightful was told that Luchasaurus, also known as Killswitch, was backstage at the show. In addition, one source indicated that when Fightful were asking about what the alternate ending was. When asking about Luchasaurus backstage, a number of sources indicated to Fightful that was, and there were discussions regarding him being used. However, when Fightful asked about his involvement in the unconfirmed alternate ending, things went very quiet. Of course, Luchasaurus Killswitch has been out of action following a serious medical issue that nearly took his life. Fightful have not confirmed that he indeed has been cleared. Now, big update here when it comes to a free agent possibly on their way to WWE. Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp has learned from a number of sources that WWE has had their eye on Jeff Cobb as of late. Cobb has been working in New Japan Pro Wrestling and even wrestled and won there multiple times this past week. After dropping a match last month, Cobb said, "So where does that leave Jeff Cobb? It seems I can't win when all the marbles are down. G1, New Japan Cup. Long gone are the days where I went 8-0 in the G1. Now I can't even break 0.5. Where does that leave Jeff Cobb? Maybe it's time to take my bags and go somewhere else. I don't know. Now, one source indicated that Cobb actually showed up on the company's internal roster this week. However, Fightful said they've not confirmed that as of yet. When speaking to sources in All Elite Wrestling, Fightful were told he wasn't expected to join their company. Let's go over to TNA and talk about Sacrifice, because the advantage for the upcoming steel cage match at the event has been confirmed. The system has the advantage going into TNA Sacrifice. In the first match of the March 13th episode of TNA Impact, Eddie Edwards defeated Leon Slater. That means their team of the system, that being JDC, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards, and the Colones, Eddie and Orlando, will have the numbers advantage going into the steel cage match against Joe Hendry, Matt Hardy, Elijah, Nick Nemeth, and Leon Slater at Sacrifice. Edwards got the victory by dodging a Swanton 450 attempt from Slater and hitting him with the Boston Knee Party. The upcoming cage match will be the first steel cage match in TNA in 6 years. Now, Hammerstone, he is on his way out of TNA Wrestling. Hammerstone wraps up his TNA Wrestling career for the time being with a TNA World Championship match. On the March 13th episode of TNA Impact, Hammerstone returned to action for the first time since TNA Turning Point, challenging Joe Hendry in the main event for the TNA World title. Hammerstone came up short in what would be Hendry's second title defense for the evening after an impromptu squash defense against Ryan Nemeth. The match was taped during the February 2025 TNA event at Full Sail University. This also happens to be Hammerstone's final match with the company for now. He announced he was leaving TNA on March 7th following the expiration of his contract. He joined the company at TNA Hard to Kill back in 2024. Now, as always, we saw some WWE NXT involvement last night on TNA Impact. It was a successful night for NXT wrestlers on the March 13th episode of TNA Impact. First, Wes Lee defeated Laredo Kid with the cardiac kick in a competitive match. Fellow NXT superstars Tariq and Tyson DuPont accompanied Lee. They were confronted by Ace Austin, Trey Miguel, and Zachary Wentz. Both teams will face off in a 6-man tag team match at TNA Sacrifice. Cora Jade was also successful on the March 13th TNA Impact. She teamed with Tessa Blanchard to defeat Lee Ying Lee and the TNA Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich. Jade didn't get the pin on Masha, however. That honor went to Blanchard, but only after Jade hit Masha with the TNA World Knockouts Championship bout. Of course, Jade will challenge Slamovich for the TNA Knockouts World Championship at TNA Sacrifice later on this evening. Speaking of that show, Frankie Kazarian's match against Steve Macklin has been confirmed for Sacrifice. A grudge match has been confirmed for the show this evening. TNA Wrestling announced that Frankie Kazarian will take on Steve Macklin at TNA Sacrifice. TNA Sacrifice is scheduled for this evening, Friday, March 14th, and will air on TNA+. Speaking of the event, the Knockouts Tag Team Championships will also be on the line this evening. The Personal Concierge will be facing some action at TNA Sacrifice. The good news for Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance is that they will receive another opportunity at the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships at TNA Sacrifice. The bad news is that the Personal Concierge, George Iceman, will be officially on their team when they face Spitfires, Danny Luna, and Jody Threat. Santina Morella made the match on the March 13th episode of TNA Impact. This follows several months of feuding and the Concierge attacking Spitfire on March 6th when Ash and Heather served their time as Spitfire's assistants. This will be George Iceman's in-ring debut. He originally joined TNA as a host, but has been paired with Ash by Elegance since her TNA debut back in 2024. Another match has been confirmed for the Countdown to Sacrifice shows that take place, of course, prior to the event going on the air. TNA Wrestling announced that First Class, that being AJ Francis and Casey Navarro, will take on Laredo Kid and Octagon Jr. at TNA Sacrifice. This will be part of the Countdown show, which airs free on YouTube later on this evening, that being today on March 14th. Now, there's been a lot, hasn't there, recently, of Brian Gewirtz kind of killing a lot of the rumors when it comes to The Rock and John Cena and plans for the heel turn, namely from Dave Meltzer and other journalists. Now, initially, a report came out yesterday in which the WWE name of The Rock and John Cena's new team was potentially revealed. Now, many have called Cena's heel turn one of the biggest moments in wrestling history, with John Cena attacking Cody Rhodes and siding with The Rock at Elimination Chamber. The March 1st PLE ended with Cena, The Rock, and Travis Scott beating Rhodes down and leaving him a bloody mess. With The Rock and Cena yet to appear together on WWE television since then, there has been a lot of speculation about the presentation of this duo. Per WrestleVotes on Sportskeeda's Backstage Pass, one of the ideas discussed has been to refer to John Cena and The Rock as the Rock and Soul Connection moving forward. This would be a play on the Rock and Sock Connection, which was The Rock's tag team with Mick Foley. The Soul part is also in reference to The Rock's original demand, with the final boss telling Cody Rhodes he wanted his soul, and Rhodes refusing to join The Rock at Elimination Chamber. However, Brian Gewirtz quickly quote-tweeted this on social media and denied it. When WrestleOps posted this aggregation of the WrestleVotes reports, Brian Gewirtz, the former WWE head writer, of course he works closely with The Rock on everything he does in WWE, as well as working for his production team, that being 7 Bucks Promotion, said, "Your sources are drunk," seemingly denying that this name was going to be used. Now let's talk about WrestleMania, of course, where John Cena will challenge Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. And some are wondering if Stone Cold Steve Austin will be involved this year. It was right around this time last year when the rumor mill started churning regarding the possible surprise cameo appearance of one of WWE's GOATs at WrestleMania 40. That wrestler was, of course, none other than the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Fans theorize that he would have been the perfect person to stand up to the final boss, The Rock, considering their history. Ultimately, that spot ended up going to The Undertaker. However, Austin's name is once again being circulated as someone who could surprise fans and help take down this newly formed Rock-John Cena formation. Austin recently spoke with Adrian Hernandez on the Unlikely podcast regarding WrestleMania 41 weekend in Las Vegas. Quote, "Well, I have some appearances. I will be in town. I haven't talked to WWE or anything like that, but, I'll be around." I'll leave it to Austin to be vague and ambiguous about being involved in what is shaping up to be one of the biggest wrestling events in history. You'd have to imagine the roof would fly off the stadium if fans heard the glass shatter during the main event of WrestleMania 41. We will indeed have to see. And finally, Commander will be putting the Ring of Honor Television Championship on the line next week on ROH on Honor Club. Ring of Honor announced that Commander will defend his Ring of Honor World Television Championship against Dark Panther on the March 20th episode of ROH on Honor Club. This will be Commander's 5th defense of the championship. So there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. A reminder, you can see it there in the sidebar. I will be live later on today with a SmackDown watch-along and a post-show as the WWE European Tour begins with a live episode of SmackDown from Barcelona, Spain. It will be live on Netflix, therefore we can watch it together. I believe in the United States, it's going to be taped and aired in its usual time slot on USA. But for all the fans around the world that can watch on Netflix, we can watch it together. If you are watching in the United States, you can find out what happens live. Maybe you can use a VPN, something like that, to watch along with us. It's going to be the first of several live watch-alongs and post-shows that we're going to be doing here throughout the month of March for all of these European shows and more. Of course, we'll also have an AEW Dynasty pay-per-view watch-along and post-show. In addition to that, next month we'll have WrestleMania on both nights, the Raw after WrestleMania, the SmackDown heading into WrestleMania. We've got so much live content planned, so be sure to subscribe. Click that notification bell. You'll be notified when we go live. Remember, you can also join the WN365 roster. Click that join button. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. Daily news videos coming up as well as countdown videos as well. So click the like button. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.